What's up everybody? Welcome back. So yeah, it's been a while since I've uploaded. I did mention in my previous video as well that I was on a bit of a break from PvP. I put out a video for the Holiday Cup, but I haven't been playing too much for the most part over the last 3 weeks, but I am back in full force right now and I'll probably be uploading every single day because part 2 of season 6 starts tomorrow and there's been a lot of exciting updates to a lot of the current moves as well, and also some new moves have been added to some Pokemon, which is pretty exciting. But for today's video, I'm going to be trying out the triple water team consisting of Azumarill, Tentacruel and Shadow Swampert. The reason I wanted to try out this team is because I've always been wanting to try out this team and I wanted to try it out before Bubble gets nerfed on Azumarill. As you might know already, Bubble, and along with a bunch of other moves, is going to get nerfed for part 2 of season 6, which might make this team a little harder to use. This team is pretty hard to run as such, but the nerf to Bubble can make it a little harder, right? Which is why I wanted to try it out before probably part 2 of season 6 begins. And honestly, this team worked really well for me. I went 4-1 thrice in the 3 sets of battles that I did with this team, and it has pretty decent coverage against majority of the meta. It can handle electric types because you have Swampert because of that ground typing, can resist electric type moves and also do super effective damage to all the electric types as well. And grass types, yes, can be definitely a bit of an issue, but you have Tentacruel as well, right? Tentacruel obviously takes only neutral damage from grass type moves because of that part poison typing, while it can also do super effective damage with those poison jabs. But overall, it can be a little difficult to use, but honestly, it ended up working out much better than I thought it would, right? So like I said, I went 4-1 thrice in the 3 sets of battles that I did with this team, and I'm going to be showcasing some of the best battles from it, so let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here, I'm going to be leading with Azumarill, with Tentacruel and Shadow Swampert in the back, and also I'm going to be switching it up between Play Rough and Hydro Pump on Azumarill because I wasn't exactly sure as to which move would be better for this team comp. So we have Azumarill into a Ferrothorn. Now this is like the hardest counter for this team because this thing resists most of the fast and charge moves of most of my Pokemon. Ice Beam and Mud Shot are probably the only moves that hit for neutral, whereas everything else is resisted, right? And also get a phone call in between, which makes it like even harder. So they go for the Power Whip there, which I let it go through because I know it's not going to one shot. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here. I'm hoping they let it go through. They do let that go through. And then I'm not sure what I'm doing here. It's hard enough as such, but yeah. So I'm going to try and go for another Ice Beam right now, but they're able to get to a power. So I'm going to have to shield this up, right? Because I really want to land this Ice Beam. I'm hoping they let the Ice Beam go through. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here, and it's not going to KO, but I really want to put this Ferrothorn into Poison Jab farm down range. So again, they shield up the Ice Beam, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to switch into my Tentacruel here and try and get to the Poison Acid Spray as soon as possible. Unfortunately, they're able to get to a charge, but I'm going to let it go through because Power Whip is only neutral because of the water poison typing. And I'm going to try and get to the Acid Spray. Unfortunately, they're able to get to another Power Whip, right? So I'm going to have to shield this up because I can't let my Swampert go up against this Ferrothorn. So I'm going to go for the Acid Spray. Now, this is resisted, obviously, because of the steel typing. But I'm hoping they let it go through because I really want this Ferrothorn out of here, right? Because it's going to be, as you can see, this thing has like the potential to basically sweep my entire team. So they go for the Power Whip. It's going to take out my Tentacruel here, and this is not looking great for us. So I'm going to wait out the switch clock and then come in with my Swampert, and my only win condition here is to try and catch the Power Whip on Azumarill, right? So it's not a win condition basically, at least to sort of at least delay the inevitable, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to able to catch the Power Whip on the Azumarill here, and they have an Azumarill in the back. So this is not great for us because I need to land a Sludge Wave and a Hydro Cannon to get rid of this Azumarill. And also they have a full health Pokemon in the back. So luckily we land the Sludge Wave here. Can I get to a Hydro Cannon in time? I'm able to get to a Hydro Cannon just in time. That probably was a CMP tie on the Play Rough. So Hydro Cannon is going to take out the Azumarill. Let's see what they have in the back. They have an Alolan Marowak in the back. Perfect. I'm going to try and get to this Hydro Cannon as soon as possible. Obviously super effective because of the fire typing. And because of the added damage bonus because of Shadow, it's going to one-shot it right there. And then Ferrothorn goes down to Mud Shot. So that was like one of the most craziest battles right there. I mean, that was like, Ferrothorn is arguably the hardest counter for this team. And also I had a bit of lag and also a bunch of phone calls in between, which made it harder. But yeah, that was like a crazy start to the set. So moving into the next battle here, we have Azumarill into a Galarian Stunfisk. Very favorable for us. And this time I'm running Hydro Pump. I did switch it up from the first battle, which is pretty good for us. So I'm going to let it go through. It's probably going to be Earthquake, which is going to do almost about 50% of Azumarill's health. Actually, it does a little less than 50%. But they make a switch into that Meganium. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. Right now, again, Meganium as well can be really hard for this team. But the good thing about this is that Azumarill with the energy advantage can do pretty well against it, right? Because now I can get to 2 Ice Beams before they can get to a Frenzy Plant. And the Ice Beam gets the second shield as well. Now, this is great for us because I'm going to stay in this matchup and then wait for them to throw their Frenzy Plant. I'm going to soak this up. Yeah, and then now I can just come in with Tentacruel, right? Because Tentacruel, the 2 shield advantage against Meganium can do pretty well because those poison jabs are obviously doing super effective damage. I'm going to definitely shield this up because I want to preserve the health of my Tentacruel. I definitely don't want my Swampert to see the Meganium. So I'm going to go for the Acid Spray as soon as possible to lower the defense of Meganium so that I can take it out as soon as possible. Yeah. I'm hoping that I can Poison Jab down. Unfortunately, they're able to get to another charge, but I'm going to let it go through because I know it's too soon to be an Earthquake. Probably just going to be a Frenzy Plant, which still does quite a bit of damage. And then I'm going to try and completely Poison Jab down here, which is really good for us. Expecting probably the Galarian Stunfisk to come back in. Yeah, they actually come in, it's Carmony. Immediately going to go into my Swampert here. They come in with their Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going to go immediately for the Hydro Cannon because I'm not sure how much energy this Stunfisk has. And Hydro Cannon is obviously going to one-shot it from that range. Almost one-shots it. And then we still have a shield advantage as well. Right now it's going to be pretty straightforward because all I have to do is basically get to 2 Hydro Cannons. And that's going to take out this Skarmory there. So I'm going to go for the first Hydro Cannon here. And then I'm going to try and go, yeah, we still have a shield as well. I'm going to just shield this up. And then the next Hydro Cannon should hopefully take it out there. So they actually go for Brave Bird, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure why. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because they wouldn't have gotten to another charge move. But now this Hydro Cannon is absolutely going to KO, right? Because of the lower defenses. And we were able to take the win there. So 2 games in a row, as you can see, we were able to beat grass types. Meganium is definitely a little easier than Ferrothorn because it doesn't have that steel typing. But then again, Meganium can be pretty hard if it's on the lead. But the fact that they switched out or switched into my Azumarill with loaded energy made it a little easier. So we have Azumarill into a Swampert. Now this is a pretty neutral matchup, but you do have to watch out for Sludge Wave. Most Swamperts tend to bait. I mean, I typically bait in this matchup if I'm running Swampert. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam here. Obviously, it's not a Shadow, so they're probably not going to shield. They actually do shield that, but it's fine. This is probably going to be a Sludge Wave, but I'm going to let it go through. But no, actually, I shield that. It's a good thing I shielded that. It's actually an Earthquake, which is pretty surprising because most Swamperts run Sludge Wave in the Great League. So this is going to be another Earthquake here, which is fine. It's only neutral, so it still does quite a bit of damage. It does about 50% of Azumarill's health. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here, and they actually double shield, which is absolutely fine, right? So I'm going to stay in this matchup and then wait for them to throw their charge moves. There's probably going to be a Hydro Cannon, which is still going to take out the Azumarill from this range. Almost takes it out there, actually does take it out. So I'm going to come in with my Swampert and then try and catch the... Yeah, should have probably caught the Hydro Cannon on the Tentacruel, but I'm going to shield this up. And then I'm going to overfarm a little bit here. But they make a switch into their Clefable. This is perfect for. I can just come in with Tentacruel here because we're resisting charms as well and we're doing super effective damage with these poison moves. I definitely have to watch out for Psychic in this matchup because Psychic could potentially one-shot the Tentacruel, which is why I go for the Acid Spray here. And we have no more shields. I'm hoping this is not a Psychic. Luckily, it's just a Medium Ash, which is resisted because of the water typing. And I should be able to Poison Jab down. And let's see what comes in. They come in with Swampert. I'm going to go immediately for the Acid Spray here. Now, this is obviously resisted because of the ground typing, but should probably come close to taking it out. Almost takes it out, but one Poison Jab should take it out. And let's see what they have in the back. They have a Charizard in the back. Beautiful. This is perfect for us. We have loaded energy on Swampert. And again, Charizard is pretty glassy in the Great League, and also it's a Shadow Swampert. So Hydro Cannon is just going to one-shot it, and that's going to take the win for us. So Fire types have no play against this team. I mean, Alolan Marowak actually is okay. It can do pretty well against Tentacruel because it resists those poison type moves. You have to basically build up all the way to a Hydro Pump to do any sort of damage to it, but other fire types have no chance against it, right? Even Victini can be a bit of an issue because of this confusion damage against Tentacruel, but overall it can definitely deal with that. So we have a Azumarill into Pelipper here. This is actually a very interesting thing is that this team was also a triple water team, so we're actually going up against another triple water team, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here, and yeah, Azumarill I think should be able to win in the no shield situation. But let's see what they did. They built up quite a bit of energy, so I'm hoping they bait with Weather Ball. They do bait, which is fantastic for us. And I'm going to try and get to this Ice Beam as quickly as possible here, but they're able to get to another charge. This is probably going to be Hurricane, right? But I'm not going to shield this because we can survive the Hurricane. And I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here. Now this Ice Beam is going to take out the Pelipper if it goes unshielded from this range. But it does get the shield, which is fine. And now I'm going to switch into my Tentacruel. Honestly, should have switched a little faster because they did farm up on quite a bit of energy here. And this is probably going to be a Hurricane, but I'm going to let it go through. I'm just going to save 2 shields for Swampert and look to close out endgame, right? So I'm going to completely farm it down here. And then they come in with their Shadow Swampert. I'm going to go straight for the Hydro Pump here because most people tend to expect the Acid Spray bait from Tentacruel, but they actually shield that, which is not great for us. So they're also going to be able to farm us down, which is not great. So it's basically up to Swampert right now. So I'm going to wait out the switch clock here and then come in with my Swampert and try and go for the Hydro Cannon as soon as possible. Luckily, we're able to get... I'm sure... I think they were trying to overfarm there. They probably sort of thought, you know, it would take us a little longer to get there. But Hydro Cannon is just going to one-shot the Swampert, as you can see. and they have an Azumarill in the back, and we have a 2 shield advantage, and this is perfect for us, right? I can just go straight for the Sludge Wave here, and I can just go for the Sludge Wave and then Hydro Cannon, it's going to take it out. So like I said, we still have 2 shields. I can just safely shield up whatever this Azumarill throws right now. We still have a potential sack swap with our Azumarill in the back, but I don't think we'll need that. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here, and this is going to take out the Azumarill and probably take the win for us there. So, I mean, even if that Swampert had thrown energy, we still had a shield advantage. So, I think we had this game for the most part there. So, like I say, it's a pretty interesting, almost an exact same team comp. They were running Pelipper instead of Tentacruel, but it was very interesting there. So, like, I mean, this is like the 4-in-1 set. The first set of battles which I went 4-in-1 with. So, moving into the next set of battles here, we have a Azumarill into a Victini. So, pretty positive lead, right? So, because we're doing super effective damage with these bubbles, and they make a switch into their Venusaur. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because they were actually pretty quick to switch out. Unlike the Meganium matchup, they were like, we almost had 2 Ice Beams. But I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here and now switch into my Tentacruel to catch the Frenzy Plant. But I'm actually going to shield this because it's going to do quite a bit of damage here. And the unfortunate thing about Venusaur is that it's only taking neutral damage from the poison moves, right? Because of that grass poison typing, it's going to be a little harder to take out with Tentacruel. So I'm going to double shield my Tentacruel here and then try and go for the poison jab, beg your pardon, acid spray, to hopefully lower its defenses and try and hopefully I can just poison jab down before they can get to a frenzy plant. Unfortunately, they're able to get to a frenzy plant here. And I'm really hoping my Tentacruel can survive this. Unfortunately, it puts us incredibly low and we go down, right? So it's not a great situation for us. I'm going to come in the Azumarill. We don't really have any energy, right? So the Frenzy Plant is going to come through. It's going to take out my Azumarill as well. And then it's basically up to Swampert. And I'm going to try and Mud Shot it down. They still have a shield advantage as well. This is very difficult, right? So they still have a full health Azumarill with the shield advantage and also a full health Victini in the back. And there's not a lot I can do. I'm just going to go straight for the Sludge Wave. And it does get the shield. And now I'm just going to give up the match there. Sometimes grass types can be a bit of an issue. The first couple of battles we managed to overcome Ferrothorn and Meganium, but yeah, this time it was pretty hard to, I mean, it's not, with grass types it's like very 50-50 kind of thing, especially if they're slow to switch out and you have loaded energy on Azumarill, it becomes a little easier, but otherwise it can be a little harder, right? So we have Azumarill into Toxicroak here. I did switch up the move back to Play Rough, as you can see there. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam here. Definitely have to watch out for Sludge Bomb in this matchup. So it does get the shield there, so I'm probably going to shield as well because I don't want a Sludge Bomb to hit me. But I'm hoping it's just a Mud Bomb bait, but they go straight for the Sludge Bomb. So that's not great for us. I'm going to try and get to this Ice Beam as quickly as possible. They're able to get to a Mud Bomb here. So I'm going to shield this, right? I'm going to shield this and hope that I can get the second shield from this Toxicroak. So I'm just going to go straight for the Ice Beam here. This is probably going to get the shield from the Toxicroak because it would probably take it out from this range. And yeah, they're able to counter down, and then now I'm going to obviously come in with my Swampert here and hopefully I can get to a Hydro Cannon in time, but they're able to get to a Mud Bomb. I'm going to shield this up, right, because Mud Bomb as well would do quite a bit of damage to Swampert. And I'm just going to overfarm a little bit by a couple of Mud Shots. No, I'm actually going to completely farm it down, which is fine. Again, Swampert with loaded energy can be extremely destructive, right? So they come in with Skarmory, which is great for us. I'm going to be able to go for the back-to-back Hydro Cannon here. It's going to do quite a bit of neutral damage there. And just going to go for another Hydro Cannon here. It's going to almost come close to taking down the Skarmory from this range and puts it pretty low. So at this point, I'm going to try and switch into my Tentacruel, but they make a switch into their Umbreon. So it's still a pretty tricky situation for us because I know Skarmory has loaded energy. And again, Umbreon is an absolute tank, right? So I'm going to go for the Acid Spray here to hopefully lower its defenses so that the next Hydro Pump would probably take it out. And yeah, they're going to be able to spam us with Foul Plays. Again, Tentacruel is pretty bulky as well, which is pretty good for us. We can tank another Foul Play as well. It's basically going to take like another couple of Foul Plays to get rid of Tentacruel. So I'm hoping that I can get to a Hydro Pump before they can get to a Foul Play. And I'm able to get to a Hydro Pump just in time. And now this is definitely going to take out the Umbreon from this range because of that lower defense. And now I'm going to try and switch into my Swampert and hopefully Mud Shot down. But unfortunately, we end up catching a move. So this is not great for us because again, Tentacruel, Poison Jabs are double resisted. But luckily, I'm able to come in and barely just take out the Skarmory there. So extremely close. Probably should have just let them throw the energy on Tentacruel. But I was afraid they would probably farm us down. But yeah, Tentacruel again, pretty tanky. It's actually a pretty underrated Pokemon. Obviously, because of the rising number of ground types in the meta, it's pretty difficult to use. But otherwise, it's actually pretty good. So we have Azumarill to Melmetal. Not a great matchup, especially considering that we're not running Hydro Pump here. So I'm going to basically have to fake a Hydro Pump. But also they have a Thunderbolt, right? So that's not great for us at all. So I'm going to build up to 7 bubbles and throw the Ice Beam to hopefully get a shield out of them. And unfortunately, they don't shield that. So this is not a great situation for us. Hopefully, I can get to another Ice Beam before they can get to a move. but they're able to get to a move, so I'm going to let it go through. It's fine. So I'm just going to let it go through, but they bait with Rock Slide, which is really good for us, right? Because we're able to survive it and get to an Ice Beam here. I'm hoping this Ice Beam gets the shield from the Melmetal, but doesn't get the shield, so it's fine. I can probably come in with Swampert and farm this Melmetal down here. They are able to get to a charge. I'm going to let it go through, right? Even if it's superpower, it's fine. But they're running Rock Slides. They're running Rock Slide and Thunderbolt, which is really good for Swampert because Swampert resists both those moves. And they make a switch into their Wigglytuff. This is perfect for us. Tentacruel completely walls Wigglytuff because it resists Charm, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. If anything, only Hyper Beam would probably do neutral damage, but most Wigglytuffs don't run Hyper Beam. But I do shield that because even though it's resisted, I want to preserve the health of my Tentacruel. I'm able to completely farm it down. They cover with Melmetal. I'm able to farm that down as well. Let's see what they have in the back. They have a Mandibuzz in the back. So I'm just going to go straight for the Acid Spray here. Hopefully I can get a shield out of them. I do get the shield, which is fantastic. So now I can get to a Hydro Pump. I'm able to get to a Hydro Pump just in time. I'm hoping they let this go through because it's going to do massive neutral damage, right? As you can see, it just does so much damage because of that lower defense. I'm going to shield this up because now I can just completely Poison Jab down and take the win there. Because they still have a shield, I'm not going to throw a charge move. I'm just going to completely Poison Jab down and then that's going to take the win for us there. So, lucky they shielded the Acid Spray. If they let the Acid Spray go through, then it would have been a little bit of a difficult situation for us. We still had Swampert in the back, but then Mandibuzz is pretty tanky as well, right? So, like you can see, I mean, this team is like sort of holding up pretty well against most team comps. But we have Azumarill into an Alolan Marowak here. Again, very favorable lead, but again, we're not running Hydro Pumps. It's not that great. I'm going to have to basically build up to Hydro Pump and fake it. They make a switch into their Tentacruel. I'm going to go into Swampert, right? So it's a very favorable matchup for us because we're resisting those Poison Jabs because of the ground typing. And I'm going to shield this up because I was worried that this could be a Hydro Pump or something, but it's just an Acid Spray shield bait, which is not great for us. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. Both Hydro Cannon and Sludge Wave are obviously resisted. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon. Still does quite a bit of neutral damage there. And at this point, I'm just going to go for another Hydro Cannon, right? Because I want to get it off before they can get to a charge move. And this is probably going to get the shield from the Tentacruel as it does there. And now I'm going to shield, right? Because this could be Hydro Pump. So yeah, I'm going to shield this up and it's a Blizzard. So it's a good thing we shielded that. That probably would have taken us out from this range. They make a switch into their Obstagoon, but luckily we have loaded energy. So I'm just going to go for the back-to-back Hydro Cannon here. The first Hydro Cannon connects. I'm going to go for the next one. This is probably going to get the shield from the Obstagoon because it's going to take it out if it goes unshielded. And we have loaded energy on Azumarill. So I'm immediately going to switch in my Azumarill, go for the Play Rough and delete the Obstagoon, right? Obviously, this is super effective because of the dark typing. And it's going to take out the Obstagoon here and they have a Tentacruel. I'm going to completely bubble this Tentacruel down. Yes, we are probably going to get hit by an Acid Spray, which is fine. Because I'm going to be able to come out of this matchup with a lot of loaded energy, right? So they go for the Acid Spray here. I'm going to try and completely bubble this Tentacruel down. Let's see what they have in the back. They have an Alolan Marowak in the back. So yeah, they did have an Alolan Marowak. I was trying to get the Play Rough off, but obviously they win CMP tie, which is fine. But this is not a great situation because I have to rely on my Tentacruel and hopefully I can get to a Hydro Pump here. So I'm just going to come in with Tentacruel. I was trying to catch a move on Swampert. That doesn't end up working out. Now they get a couple of Fire Spins extra energy, which is not great for us at all. And this is not a great situation to be honest because they go for the Shadow Bone and also we get the defense debuff. So that's not great for us. Hopefully I can get to another Hydro Pump before they can get to another Shadow Bone. I mean, luckily I'm able to get to a Hydro Pump just in time there. So that's going to take out the Alolan Marowak and take the win for us. That was probably a CMP tie on the Shadow Bone, I'm not sure. Even probably Bone Club would have taken us out from that range because of the defense debuff. But yeah, kind of close one there. Luckily we were able to pull that off. So I think moving on to the final battle of the video, we have Azumarill into an Alolan Marowak once again. I'm running Play Rough, so again, not a great matchup. I'm basically going to have to bait with Ice Beam. So I'm just going to build up to 7 bubbles and then throw the Ice Beam here. I'm going to let it go through. It's probably going to be a Shadow Bone, which is fine. And just going to, yeah, we get the defense debuff, which is pretty unfortunate for us. So again, going to build up 1 bubble past the Hydro Pump and then throw the Ice Beam here. And yeah, does get the shield from the Alolan Marowak, which is fantastic for us. And even though our defense has been debuffed, the Shadow Bone is not going to KO, right? It's going to put us pretty low, but we should be able to get another Ice Beam here. And this is probably not going to get the shield from the Marowak because it's not going to take it out from this range as it doesn't there. And yeah, also they decided to throw their charge. This is really good for us, right? Because they probably thought we would get to another move or something. I'm not sure. This is great because I can just come in with my Swampert and completely farm it down. I don't have to worry about this Marowak getting to a charge move. And again, Swampert with loaded energy and shield advantage can be destructive. So they have a Venusaur in the back. This is where it gets really tricky. They have a Razor Leaf Venusaur in the back, right? Like I said, Venusaur is one of the hardest counters for this team, along with Ferrothorn as well, because Venusaur, because of that poison typing, is going to only take neutral damage from the poison moves. But they actually shield Acid Spray and make a switch into their Umbreon. So this is not a great situation once again for us. So I'm gonna let it go through. I think I'm gonna let it go through and then come in with my. I'm just gonna go for the acid spray and lower the defenses of this Umbreon here. And I'm basically depending on my Swampert to get rid of both Umbreon and Venusaur, right? So, yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a tough ask, and also this Umbreon is farmed up on quite a bit of energy here. So I'm gonna have to overfarm, right? I'm gonna overfarm quite a bit because probably a couple of Razor Leaves would take us out from this range. I'm gonna shield up the second Foul Play as well, and then I'm gonna try and build up to 2.5 Hydro Cannons, hopefully build up to 100 energy, and then throw the Hydro Cannon here. This is gonna take out the Umbreon from this range, and I'm really hoping I can get to a Sludge Wave before they take us out. Luckily, we were like one Mud Shot away from the Sludge Wave. I'm gonna go for the Sludge Wave against this Venusaur here, and it just one-shots it from that range, and that takes the win for us there. So like that close, that was like so close right there. One Razor Leaf would have taken us out, but luckily, I mean, because we overfarmed in that Umbreon matchup, we were able to take out the Venusaur also there. So another set where we went 4-1. Like I said, this team has been working really well for me. I'm going to be trying out these triple similar type teams challenges as the season progresses, so stay tuned for that. I'm hoping I can make a video with all 18 types in the Great League in Season 6. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.